Why is this happening to me? Okay. Hi. Let me get you. I wanted to do a live really quick because me and Priscilla have been making videos on our TikToks about like the order bank, the food stamp fraud, the numbered system. We're coming out with a series, and one of the most popular questions right now is people don't understand why we did the fake people don't understand why we do the fake last names. So I'm gonna make sure you guys can hear me for a second, and then I am going to kind of just go over some of that really quick. Yeah. I had a minor issue trying to go live, and I need to delete that right now. I'm gonna delete that. Let me go ahead and delete that. Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm gonna delete that. Let me go ahead and delete that. Can you guys hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Is this the ugly background? Whatever. Hi, you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just discuss, because I think I'm gonna share this little blurb on TikTok as well, because I think that it's such a confusing thing, but I know a lot of you guys already know this. I'm just going to explain it again though. So just to give some clarity on why the order, My Polygamous Cult, does the fake last names. So originally, I believe, and it was told to me that back in the day when the order was first starting, people were getting prosecuted for living polygamy, so people were getting arrested. And so it was this way of like protecting the families so that the men wouldn't get arrested for living polygamy. So they started to, the first wives, obviously they got the husband's names, but then the plural wives would either make up a fake last name or they would keep their maiden name. So honestly, more often they make up a last name than taking the maiden name. And I think partially because if they take a maiden name, it's like 9 times out of 10 it's Kingston, right? But for example, my dad, his last name is Johnson because his mom, Isabel Johnson, kept her maiden name. Even though she married Ortel Kingston as like the 10th wife, she kept her maiden name Johnson, and then that Johnson name is technically real, but the majority of the order has fake last names, and they will have the kids that are of the plural wives, they will make sure that the kids have either a fake father on the birth certificate or they will have a unknown. We talked about that in the last video that I just posted. All the kids there had a fake father on their birth certificate except for Allison. Allison had unknown. So it originally started, I believe, to protect them, but I think they also wanted a way to not have to pay child support, because can you imagine paying child support on 14 wives, right? So they were able to bypass having to pay for child support on all these kids, and then also, because they're not legally on those birth certificates, the mom can now apply for food stamps or welfare fraud, right? So all these wives were getting welfare fraud, and the cult is very big on bleeding the beast, right? So get as much money from the government as you can. But back in, I think it was the 80s, 90s, when Ortel was the leader, so the second leader, they were all doing that, and then some of them got caught, and they had the option to either pay like a fine that was over like $200,000 or go to spend some jail time. Ortel got to pay the fee for himself, but then I think a few people had to go to jail, including Fred Kingston. We talked about this before. So the leader didn't have to go because he was able to pay the fine because he had access to the funds, but then his loyal followers had to pay the price. I think because of that, that's why the leader now, he does not have any of his wives on food stamps or welfare because it's out of fear for him. And I remember them spinning it, like Paul's family, one of his daughters spun it and said, oh, well, he doesn't want us to have to rely on the government because he takes care of us, all 27 wives and families. Yeah, right. he's trying to protect himself. That's why they're not on food stamps, because he probably heard the whole thing with Ortel and didn't want that to happen to him. Because why would he not have his family on food stamps and all of that other stuff? If it worked out for Ortel, he would probably try it too. But he's covering his own ASS. So there's still, to this day, a lot of people in the order are doing food stamp fraud, welfare fraud, you know, basically bleeding the beast, right? Tax fraud, all the above, all the frauds. And I think that it also benefits the order to do the fake last names because it makes it harder to trace them. It makes it harder to link everybody to each other because there's all these fake last names, fake fathers on the birth certificates. So it really makes that group something where you have to put a lot of effort into to really put the pieces together. Because if you think of like the FLDS or the AUB, they have a lot of Allreds, they have a lot of Barlows, a lot of the same names are getting mixed around. But in the order, it's like a bunch of random names like Grant. Then we have, can I say all these last names? There's so many random last names that are put in there. It would be hard for someone investigating to really track everybody down. Anyway, I just wanted to say that little piece so that I could also use some of these clips for TikTok, because I've been making a lot of TikToks, even though everyone's saying it's going to get shut down, but it's been, me and Priscilla have been putting a bunch of TikToks together to try to explain a bunch of things about the order, and I feel like every fourth or fifth question is like, why do they have to have fake last names? And I guess it's a hard answer, so I just wanted to explain it again so I can share it again. Anyways, how are you guys? Hi, Crystal. Hi, Shadow. Hi, Emily. Sorry, I went live so late. I feel like I've been so drained from the polygamy stuff. I've been filming polygamy stuff every single day, as well as when I went to go visit Shalise, we filmed like 3 episodes all in one. If you have not watched, I'll leave it linked down below after we're done with this live. If you have not watched the panel on cults to consciousness, we have 8 women talking about their stories. And when I was in that interview with all of them, I teared up so many times because just hearing what each woman has gone through and how resilient they all are, it's so empowering. And I just the whole time was like, I'm so lucky to be a part of this, to just be in these women's presence. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Isata says it's funny and that they think it's good to have kids and be married to their half sibling and other family members. They should have just started being with their bio siblings they share parents with. Hi, Emily. Hi, TPZ. Has a little bit culty reached out to you? We talked about doing a podcast. She had me submit some information to her podcast, so hopefully we'll be doing an episode together. But yeah, thank you, Crystal. You watched it twice, Brooke? Wow, I'm so glad you liked it. I really it was so powerful just hearing. And so in the very beginning, okay, if you remember the part where man, there were so many similarities in the different cults, and I got chills so many different times, especially when they were talking about like procreate, just have as many babies as possible. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the order. And some of these descriptions of their cult, I was like, wait a minute, were you in the order? Like, same stuff. I hope that order people watch that, because if an order person watches that and listens, they'll be like, whoa, how come you guys are doing the same things as us, but we're the righteous ones? That was the number one thing that made me want to leave the order. I was like, as soon as I started realizing that other religions that we classify as cults, right, like the FLDS, believed in almost the same exact things, that the building blocks of the religion was basically the same, yet, and they believed that they were the truest one. I started to think like, well, what makes us right? We believe the same thing, and we're sitting here laughing at them like, ha ha ha, you don't even know. And they're looking at us the same exact way. So for us to think that we were just happened to be born into the Lord's kingdom on earth, out of the billions of people on earth, we are the most righteous, that we just happen to be born into it, sounds like narcissism, you guys. This is gonna be a short live. I'm like KO'd, man, on this polygamy stuff, but I'm pushing through. I don't know how you go on those marathon sessions of filming. I can only do little bits of a time. I know. After filming with Shalise, I was like, I don't even know how I did that. And then it started to hit me like a day or two later. I was like, whoa. So when I go really hard for a while on the content, I need to decompress. Some poor guys' names are on birth certificates to children, not even theirs, getting sued for child support. Oh, yeah, so Kyle Grant, I've told this story so many times, but a man named Kyle Grant, so Kyle Grant is the father on my birth certificate, which I don't know Kyle Grant, and a man named Kyle Grant in Utah got contacted by, I don't know if it was the state, but they were like trying to demand child support from him, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, chill. There were even more similarities that y'all didn't even have time to talk about. I know, I hope we can do it again, honestly. It was so good. I worry about you, Amanda. You push yourself way too hard. I appreciate it, so thank you. I have been feeling it definitely more. So one of my New Year's resolution was to try to do more of what I enjoy, which obviously I really enjoyed that panel and being a part of things, but I do think that I need to add something to my New Year's resolution to be setting aside time for myself, setting aside days that I don't have to do any content, I don't have to do any work. I think the problem with doing YouTube and being having that be your main source of income is you really could work every single day and never have a day off, and then you become burnt out. So I need to make my own schedule to where I have breaks, because overloading myself with this kind of stuff is it's catching up to me. My favorite hobbies and things to do for self-care. I think running has been the biggest one lately because I can do it anywhere, and that is what keeps me with my endorphins. It gives me endorphins when I'm like depressed. I'm trying to get back into my art. I was contacted to do a art piece for donations, like for auction for donations. So that may be coming out in the next month. But yeah, I just needed a week to decompress from all of this. I can feel it. It's definitely a lot. Love those cardio endorphins. I know. I've been getting really into Pilates too. I feel like Pilates has been such a nice, relaxing, not relaxing, but like, it kind of gets it checks all the boxes. Like you get your social aspects because it's a class, and then you get like all of your muscles, and it's also stretching as well. So it's like a 5-for-1. Kind of expensive though, but I think it's worth it. Thank you, Prudence. A life out of order. I was talking about you the other day actually, because me and Priscilla were making a TikTok about how a bunch of people that had to go into hiding for the incest in the order. So we made a whole series on TikTok about weird things we do, weird things that happen in the polygamous cult that we grew up in. And I couldn't figure out how exactly the people started to figure out, because this is the thing that doesn't make sense, is they're all living incest, right? My dad's married to his half-sister, has a bunch of kids with her. Paul and all of his brothers are living some form of incest, but why is it that only at that time they were demanding a paternity test to find out all of the incest to try to arrest Paul for the incest. So then Paul's wives go into hiding. I think some of them were in hiding for 7 years, his wives and kids, which, by the way, it's not that like he's not impregnating them. They're figuring out how to get them to keep having kids, right? But Paul's trying to protect himself and figure out how to not go to jail for incest. But so I don't know what exactly happened, but there's rumors that they were paying off police officers in Utah, and that's how they were able to get out of hiding and no one went to jail for incest. Because that's one of the you guys ask this question a lot. How come no one's getting arrested for incest? I think they were going to, and then it just got dropped because money. I've been following the series. It's so good. Yay, I'm so glad. I would love to have more information on the in hiding stuff, because I think you were talking about how you had to like help take care of a family, like, because these women, from what I was hearing, these women and children were kind of just on their own out in Colorado in the middle of nowhere, and just kind of have to fend for themselves. And I think that there were some men that got assigned to kind of help take care of the family. And from my understanding, you were one of the men. Val's here. The warrants expired and the state would not renew them because they were aware the wives would stay in hiding. Pretty much the state gave up. How come only Paul's wives? How come they only went after Paul? Because at that point, David had his sisters that were his wives and he was having kids with them. And David has gone to prison. Like, in David's prison sentence, he was supposed to have 10 years, but he got out in 4, and he promised that he would stop living incest, yet he still was. So it's like they had to have been paying people off, because if incest is against the law, then why is no one going to jail for it? It doesn't make any sense to, when people ask these questions, I'm like, I don't know, you tell me. Okay, that's good to know. I thought it was only Paul's wives that went in hiding, but I didn't know that there was some of Daniel's wives that went in hiding too. Yeah, as a genetic genealogist, I would love to study the Kingstons, but there's no way they would let me. I'm sure a bunch of ex-members will let you. I was gonna have Priscilla come down here and talk with you guys, but she might not get a chance to come down here and say hi. But we are planning on filming a video where we talk about how we're related and our family tree. So it's gonna be kind of similar to the Daniel family tree, but we're just gonna be painting a picture of, you know, Priscilla's lineage, mine, and then how they're connected. Because I'm related to Priscilla, my mom is related to her mom, and my dad is related to her dad. And so we'll kind of web that all together in hopefully not a confusing way. They had no men with them, so I volunteered to go. My sister, Daniel's wife, and other sister, Paul's wife, were in hiding, so I volunteered to go with them. Wow. Dang, that's crazy. Well, I would love to hang out longer, you guys, but I am still so drained from, I feel like once I get my week-long just staycation, I will have so much more energy for longer live streams, but I feel like I need to just come say hi, say my 2 cents, and then we're gonna go. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have more energy and we can go live on Patreon for a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm definitely tapped out right now on the polygamy stuff. And it is my own fault, because I'm like, let's get this done, let's film. Like, me and Priscilla have had like goals to hit for this series that we're doing on TikTok, and then adding them to our shorts. And Priscilla wants to get back into getting her YouTube up as well. So, but it's definitely kind of draining always talking about, oh, she's here. I was literally gonna close out. Do you want to say hi for a second?
Yes. Hi. I'm still doing my
makeup. We were just talking about the wives that were in hiding. And did you know Daniel's wives were in hiding too? I thought it was just Paul's.
I think there were some, but they were somewhere else, no?
I don't know.
Or maybe it was either at a different time or they were somewhere else.
Because when you went out to go visit your aunt, who was one of Paul's wives, who was also his sister, it was just Paul's wives that were out there?
No, I do remember.
Okay, yeah. So it is
she was in hiding, but she wasn't in the same place as them at the same time.
Okay.
I just remember her, like, she changed her name and everything.
When you went out there, were they doing like school for the kids, or were all the kids out there together?
Yeah, they were doing homeschool.
Wow. Yeah, I had one of the kids that went out in hiding. They contacted me and said they were out there for 7 years.
Yeah.
But they were still having kids with Paul at the time, right?
Well, he would just go out there and get them pregnant and then
leave.
Go back, yeah.
It was probably on the time of their cycle, because they all these men have the ovulation schedules of their wives so that they can get them pregnant.
Yeah, when I went out there, it was honestly really fun for me because I was just visiting. I think it was only for a week, maybe 2. But oh my gosh, we would do things like they had someone that would pay them for pigeons. So in this huge barn that they had, we would climb on the rafters and literally, like, someone would make noise and all these pigeons would fly this way and we would catch them midair.
Ew.
Yeah, and then we would like hand them down and put them in the cage to sell. And I remember there was an owl up there, and I thought it was so cute, but it was really scary.
Wow.
I didn't realize owls were scary, but
dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, we basically talked about the food stamp fraud. We're going to be filming some more videos on our TikTok. I think the next one's coming up is the marriage by proxy. So the people that were wanting to have Brother Eldon's kids, but he passed away too soon. So then they married Ortel, and Ortel basically did Eldon a solid to marry his wives and have Eldon's kids for him. And she's going to talk about how that kind of happened with her dad, who passed away. Then did they ever talk to you about it, or it was just the conversations that the adults had? Because were you like, am I going back to my dad, or what family am I going in heaven when we all pass away?
No, I remember just knowing that because they had like what was it called? Like a celestial marriage, but not a regular one, because my mom was his second, and not my dad's, but the stepbrother that she married. And I remember asking, like, well, why would you get tied to him if because everyone would say that we were going to go back to my dad, and that even her kids with the new husband were my dad's technically. So I didn't understand that, but at the same time, like, everybody said we were going to go back to my dad.
Interesting. So that means that all the 8 kids that your mom had with the new husband are actually going to be your full siblings in heaven?
She had 7, but yeah.
7 kids, wow.
She had 10 total.
That's crazy.
Someone said, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Is it quiet? Is that what it is? Oh, it is quiet.
We can't hear you.
Well, we're going to bounce. So maybe ask your final questions before we go. Such a beautiful journey from escaping polygamy to where you are now. Thank you. Crystal says, it's Priscilla.
Hi, Crystal.
Priscilla she just needed the mic a little closer because I was holding it like right here.
I always forget that I have a very soft voice unless I'm making an effort to talk loud.
Well, it's good to see you too. Yeah, I was talking to him about the hiding stuff. Definitely, I would love to have you on the channel. But all right, okay, love you guys. If you're a part of the Patreon, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then we will be coming out with a video, hopefully a video on my channel and a video on your channel very soon. But all right, love you guys. Bye. There we go.